Hey, what's up, everybody? Dreams and day jobs, bro. Come on, 24, bro. We coming for that number one spot.
Yeah.
Number one spot, man. Yo, it's so awesome to just like flick it on, you know?
You did totally just turn it on.
We flick it on, man. Yo, I'm one of your hosts, Travis, with my guy right here.
You already know. Jeff, co-host, Dreams and Day Jobs podcast. Like you said, episode 24, dude, creeping up there slowly but surely.
Bro, man.
Creeping up, 24 weeks.
I know
So what's
Rogan
that?
feels it.
Yeah, right?
I know he feels it.
24, so that's 6 months, dude. We've been doing it for 6 months.
6 months, bro. Doesn't even feel like that, bro. And that's the scary part. Time is gone, bro. Gone. Time is gone. Dang, bro. So what's going on? What's happening? What we about to talk about?
So, again, on the way over here, a lot of times on the way over here,
Yeah.
I think about the week and think about like what we're going to talk about. And I'm like driving, like I had like, you drive, like you ever drive with Instagram open? Of course you have.
Like
You ever drive? Yeah, like just like I'll just like be in the car, like at the light, and I'll just be like, I'll have the reels open, and I'll just be like
I
listening to
can't
stuff.
say that I've done that.
All right, well,
You're a real
Yeah.
watcher, bro.
yeah, definitely.
You're a real watcher, bro.
And
That's what they should call people, real watchers.
I heard this. Yeah, I definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely watch a lot of stuff. Which
It's hard to focus on it, bro. Like if there's such
Yeah.
short pieces of content.
Yeah.
Like if I'm driving, like maybe if I
Oh.
want to, it's just how do you focus?
you're right. It's probably not. It's probably not to my benefit.
I shouldn't
But I
criminate
did.
yourself on that
It's
one.
probably not to my benefit. But I did hear this reel. I did hear this quote, or it wasn't a quote. And again, I always go back to Ty. It happened to be him, and he was like, I tell people that if you're persistent, you'll get what you want,
Yeah, that's for sure.
but plan on it taking 2 years longer than you expect.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I was like,
Mhm.
and he said, don't give up. He said, Confucius said, you ever heard of Confucius, the Chinese philosopher?
Yes.
He goes, Confucius says the greatest, it's something along the lines of like the greatest feeling of wanting to give up usually happens right before you succeed.
Always. Have you ever seen the
You know?
the picture of the miner? There's like two pictures of the miners, like people, coal miners, and they're
He stops
digging.
and it's right there.
It's right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
One more hit, he'd
Yeah.
have it, but he went
And-
home.
And it made me think, and it made me think. I was like, all right, like, I'm not at the point. I guess it's contextual depending on what it is. Like with this podcast and
Yeah.
with us getting up every week and doing this, like I haven't felt even like the slightest bit of like,
Oh, if I'm doing this.
I don't feel like doing this.
Me
Which,
neither.
you know what I mean? So it's like, on one end, it's like, damn, well, that must mean because I haven't felt that yet, plus 2 years, that must mean we have a long way to go. Or on the opposite end, it kind of just means like, all right, even if we do have a long way to go, which I'm sure we do, it's cool to think that like it doesn't feel like a chore or a job. Like I do enjoy it,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like I said last week, it's just, even if during the week I go through those feelings of which I do of just like, what am I doing? I'm not really doing much. I could be doing more. Just having this and that common goal is something that if it feels like we have something that we're working on together, it's just like cool. Even if you and I, like, I don't, I have like an idea of like what I see for like the outcome of why we're doing this. But like, I think it's just the feeling of working on something,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
which kind of made me think like, and then I was going to ask you, it kind of made me draw up the question in my mind, like,
Hold on, before you ask that question, I'm sorry to cut you.
no, don't. Yeah.
But really, the main thing is like, okay, like, so we started the podcast. Of course, we're thinking in mind, how is this going to benefit our future
Yeah.
personally? But we started it because when we have conversations, they're so powerful and boosting each other up. Iron sharpens iron. So we were like, why wouldn't I would love to do that. And I know you would love to do that for somebody in Arizona, for someone in the Philippines, for someone who's working on a dream and a day job who may not have someone like we have in our corners. There's a ton
That's
of
so
people
true.
who don't have good friends.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of people who want to do things, pursue things, and go tell people that they're going to do these things, and the people give them bad feedback instead of boosting them up. Like somebody says, think realistic.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be an astronaut. Be realistic. Dude, that is the worst thing you could do, even if the person has no shot. But how do you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, it's so powerful to be able to do this podcast. So when it does start reaching the masses, and it's already reaching a lot of people, even just one person, it really comes down to that, to be able to give them that positive feedback that they need in working a dream and a day job, because it's super important.
Yeah.
It's super important to have people in your corner, super important to have the right advice. And if you don't have anybody in your corner now, you could just go on YouTube and you could find people. You could create your circle without actually being in that circle.
Yeah.
That's powerful, bro.
Yeah.
So that's like the main reason why we're here. And, you know, leave room for surprises, bro, because we know how podcasts make money off views, make money off ads, make money off, guests, make money off sponsorships. But that'll definitely come. It's just always the main focus, bro. And it makes me think of, as someone asked me today about a scene in a movie that was this old lady. It's called God's Not Dead. And this guy comes to go talk to, I think it was maybe some old lady that he knew. I don't know. The clip was random. I didn't see the movie, so I didn't know the context of it. But he's talking to her, and he's standing behind her. She's laying in the bed, and she's kind of just looking off into space. She's an old lady, and I guess she had dementia. And he's like talking to her, and he's like, I have everything. He's like, I'm rich. He goes, but I'm mean. I'm like the meanest person. He goes, I got everything I need. He goes, and you're here with dementia. And he's saying like, he doesn't really believe in God for that type of reason. Like, I have everything and I'm the terrible person. And you're someone who prays every day and you got dementia. And it put it in perspective in the sense of like, this person was asking me like, you know, like why
Could that be true? How could that even be a thing? Yeah, exactly.
But it, and I understand that. I completely understand that. Yeah. And it's interesting because I've never, Brian, I don't know, maybe God just gifted me. I never looked at people who had maybe issues that you would see as an issue, poverty, health, mental, anything like that. Like that's God's fault or that's God's doing. You know, like you live in a world that's messed up, that's fallen, that's not right with God until you actually take the choice to get right with God. And just because you make the choice to get right with God doesn't mean that like all of a sudden, like, you know, I'm not saying he can't heal you and doesn't heal people and doesn't perform miracles for people, but like there's plenty of people. Look at Mother Teresa. She had a terrible life, bro. She was a godly woman. Mother Teresa raised hundreds of orphans in India, in poverty, and she struggled her whole life, bro. But the impact she made. So you can't always, like, we think we know how God thinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she said that to him. Like, she said, man, I wish I could remember the clip that she said. She basically said, like, at one point, this is what she said. She goes, right now you live in, I'm paraphrasing, you live in a beautiful jail. You're in jail, but you don't know it. You have a beautiful jail. You have everything you need in it. The door is wide open, but you can't leave. She goes, and one day you'll realize that and you'll die and you'll be in real jail. She's talking about like the afterlife because you chose not to believe in God. And what I said to her was, sometimes the devil doesn't need to make your life hell. The goal of the devil is to make you not trust and believe in God. He doesn't need to make your life hell. What if I was the devil and I made you rich, gave you women, gave you a beautiful place to live, gave you jets, gave you yachts, gave you everything you ever wanted, and you just lived your life great, you died, never knew God, and ended up going where God wasn't? I succeeded because I made your life so good and comfortable that you never even needed God. It's a smart way to go at someone, you know? There's other people, and I said this too, I said, it's just like the two people who grow up with drinking parents. One son decides to drink because his dad drunk. The other one decides to never drink because his dad drunk.
Yeah. So
So it has nothing to do with God or the devil. It's how the person handles it. And she was like saying, she's like, oh, why get this person, like, she lived such a good life. And I didn't go too deep, but I was like, how do you know she lived such a good life? What's so good about her? Not one person in this world is good compared to God. Not one person. Everybody is bad compared to God. You've all lied. You've all cheated. You've all stole at one time. You've all said you hated someone. You've all talked crap.
Yeah.
You're scum. We're all scum. God is the one who keeps you righteous. I'm only righteous because I believe in God. Ain't because of something I did. Ain't because I'm some glorious person. I pray every day and I read this Bible and I read my daily readers. Nah, bro. Like, if everyone was able to go into your mind and see how you really think, you wouldn't want to open up that door. I wouldn't want to open up that
You're
door.
right. That's why there's no saints out there. And like
Nah,
you said,
no saints out there.
like you said, I like how you said there's no. It's interesting, like you said, how you handle it. I heard I don't know exactly who said it, but I heard a quote. It was recently. It was no man can get rid of the devil inside of him, but you just have to learn to control him.
Yeah.
He's there. He's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
no,
said,
I
like whether that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You'll
I
never get whether it's like
Mhm.
whether you want to make a bad decision, whether you
Mhm.
want to cheat, whether you want to steal, whether you want to do this, but it's like there's he's always there, like, but you just got to control it.
Yeah.
And I heard that quote when I was like, just like you said, you know what I mean, with the alcoholic parents, it's like you may have the temptation or the urge to want to go down this path, but you're able to take control and be like, all right, like, no, you're
Mhm.
not. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I mean,
I
listen.
thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yo, it is. That's so true. I mean, I like that. You know, like you do have to, it's like at one point, the voice you have to tame the voices, you know, like devil's going to talk, he's always going to question your identity to make you not think that you are in God. And I mean, I'm sure you heard of like when Jesus went to the desert, before Jesus did any miracles, any crazy thing that you've heard about him, healing the blind, raising people from the dead, feeding people with 2 loaves of bread and 3 pieces of fish and feeding 5,000 people, miracles, walking on water, all these miracles. He never did that until he went to the desert after he got baptized for 40 days and 40 nights. And it doesn't talk a lot about what he did, but he spent time with God, right? And the devil tempted him throughout this whole thing. Every time he tempted him with identity. He'd say, like, if you're the son of God, take these 2 stones and turn them into bread. If you're the son of God, worship me and I'll give you all the kingdoms of the world. If you're the son of God, every time he tried to knock him out of, because if he did one of those miracles, he would be proving to the devil that he didn't believe who he was. So if he turned the stones in the loaf into bread, he would have been having to prove that he was the son of God, where it's not like that. I don't need to prove it to you. I already know it. If I feel like I have to prove it to you, now I'm questioning who I really am. So it was real tricky, bro. It was like real tricky, like what was going on there. And then after that, his ministry just went crazy, like.
You can kind of relate that what you just said to life. It's like not, it's like, yo, I don't have to prove, like just walking like in day-to-day life. Like I know who just being confident relating that to like being confident in yourself. Like I don't need to prove to you that I'm this or this. Like I know in my, like I know I'm that.
You'll see me when I show up.
Exactly.
You'll see me when I show up. Yeah, that's true. That's a good thing. I'm sorry, bro. I took you off.
No, I'm glad. That was good. That was good.
Pretty cool, bro.
We just got right into
It reminded
something.
me of something when you said that. What were you just about to ask?
I was going to ask you. So like we work on all these things, like we got the podcast, like you got like the YouTube channel, you got like your music, you got like TikTok, we got all these things that like we work towards, and like ideally like this ideal vision of like of being more and doing more, filling our potential, having an impact on people, right? Like, and there's like that journey, that process, right? So I guess it made me think like that meme, the miner meme, and the quote that I heard on the way here made me think, and I was like, all right, like if you woke up tomorrow and like money was no issue, you like had no goals and you weren't like pursuing anything and you weren't like taking action on anything, or you can continue the process of striving for your goals, but your finances wouldn't change and you would just keep doing what you're doing, but your success may never come. So would you choose to wake up to no financial stress, but not have that process of trying to build something and take action on your goals? Or do you just keep the process of like building the YouTube, building the podcast, getting better at music, but do you still continue that process in hopes that one day you'll achieve this thing that we think we want, but like you might not be guaranteed it? Like what are you
guaranteed?
Nothing. You're not guaranteed anything. Just well, that's what I mean. It's like, so it just made me think like, what does it all come down to money? Like, because I know I stress a lot about, what I'm trying to say? Like, if you were to wake up tomorrow and like money was never an issue, but like all the things that like we take pride in and enjoy, like the process, the journey, like the getting up every weekend and filming the podcast, working on new music, trying to like build a brand and, posting on YouTube, trying to build a following and building the TikTok and trying to be, be this, build a brand and trying to gain success. Like, and it made me think like, is the enjoyment in the process, or would the enjoyment come from just the benefits of what we think is coming? You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, if you can wake up and the money was just there and you had no financial issues, but like the whole working on yourself and the whole process itself was gone, or you can continue to have that feeling of building yourself, even though the success may never come. It wasn't guaranteed. It might, but it might not. If somebody told you that, you could still work on all these things every single day and continue your day job and you might reach success, but you might not. And it wasn't guaranteed. But like you said, I guess that's kind of life in general. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like,
it is. If
you could wake up tomorrow again and have infinite money and there was no financial pressure, but like you had nothing to strive for, what are you taking? Like, are you continuing to like, you know what I'm trying to say?
All right, guys. So the topic is money. This is what the podcast could be about. And it's so funny how you bring this up today too, bro, because
you do have to answer the question.
Yeah, and I will. That was the topic for today. So that was my lesson from God today, was money. Because I've been thinking a ton about money. I always think about money. Like I do. I think about money. I'm invested in things. I'm thinking about money. And I also stress about money. I know it's not a good thing. Because like, listen, I grew up with the Bible. I know what the Bible says about money. Like I know you can't serve two masters. You can't. If you're giving so much worry and stress and thought towards money, there's your master right there. You're showing the proof of it, because if your master is God, he's your provider. So you don't trip about money. Why would you trip about money? You think God of this world can't give you money? And I always had that. That was always that's my foundation. I'm not saying I steer from that. I think life is always checking yourself. Like, dude, you're gonna steer away from God in this life. You just are. You're gonna get off path. But how quick can you get yourself back on? So I was definitely thinking of that this week, stressed out about that, thinking about that, not stressed about it, on and off. So I come down here this morning, checking crypto. One of my things is down because I switched in at a stupid price, and that's another thing. But I switched into it at a stupid price, so I'm thinking about this. I'm like, all right, I got to pay attention to this because when this goes at this, I'm swapping back out. Boom. But I'm thinking about money, and I come down here, work out this morning, and I always listen. I either listen to Creflo Dollar, listen to a minister, I would listen to a sermon, or I listen to something educational. Rarely I listen to music, and rarely I listen to nothing. So come down here. First video on my feed is Brandon Carter's video. 5 things the Bible says about money. I said, I already knew Brandon was a Christian. I'm like, I know the three of them that he's going to say. I'm going to watch it. Why not? I'm thinking, been thinking about money.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me watch it. Okay, boom. Watch it. Halfway through the workout, the next video that's under it, coming up next, is Creflo Dollar's sermon. And it's so funny how the devil always tries to get me to be like, nah, I'll watch that later. I don't feel like watching that right now. Always. And when I feel like that, that's when I click it. Because I know he's trying to keep me from something. There's a reason why my flesh doesn't want to listen to this sermon. Because every time I listen to Creflo, God speaks directly into my life. What's the sermon about? Money. Exactly money. Saying the exact things that I've thought and felt. So I know I need a check. Mind you, I had a dream last night. And I have 2 recurring type dreams. I've already told you about this. One is a packing dream. Late for a flight, late for a trip, I'm packing. The other one is I spawn back in some school, high school. I know I'm in high school, not college. I'm always in high school. And I either don't know where my classes are. And I'm like running around. I'm in wrong classes. I'm talking to people, or I don't have something done, like some homework done. I'm screwing up somehow, but it's usually the first days of school type feeling.
It's more reality.
Don't know where the classes
no
are.
Homework ain't done.
Yeah. Homework ain't done. Don't know where the classes are. And those dreams mean, and I came down here. It was a mess down here. It still is right now. My studio is still messed up, and I was just unorganized. And this week I dealt with that. Like, I was up, I slept later. There were things I couldn't do my daily negotiables that I couldn't do just because of time, bro. Like there's times where I've missed that window. I can't work out this morning right now. It takes me an hour. I need to do these other things for an hour and a half before I got to go and go work or go and, get the baby up or something like that. Like I'm good at like, damn, I missed it. I got to move on to something else. I have to get to the next thing. I can't do all of these right now. Like I've done it trying to get everything done up in an hour. So I have a dream about that. So I know when I have these recurring dreams that stuff's going on in my brain. I know it because I feel it. I'm not a dummy like, what do I feel like this? No, I know why I feel like this. I'm tripping about money. I'm tripping about, what I'm like, really like missing things that I haven't done. I don't like that. So I'm tripping about that stuff. So back to your question. Of course, my flesh wants to say, yeah, bro, wake up with no money problems. But why am I going to wake up with no money problems and not have any ambitions? That's not life. That's not even like, the only way you make waking up with no money problems is like lotto. You hit the lotto. And even then, based on how we are, you're going to pursue something. So I get that. Like, of course, I want to choose that answer naturally, because it will solve a lot of issues, right? But I know the stuff that I do and the stuff that you do, like we're talking about, and you may never guarantee to reach your goals or whatever, bro, you're not doing it for money. We're not doing this for money. Yeah. We're not making, this is how much money we're making on this podcast right now. This is how much money we've made on the podcast. With the other things I'm doing is a little bit of money. It's not this, but it's a little bit of money. But that's not the reason, because if money was the reason, you would have quit a long time ago. You would have quit after that week that you didn't make no money. People don't do things for this long, with this much consistency, this much effort, without making money, with money on their mind.
I guess that was the point of the whole thing, which kind of made me realize, like, all right, like the enjoyment is like, some days it's harder than others, but like, is the enjoyment just in the process, in the building? You know what I mean? Oh
my gosh, bro. So 100%, bro. Brandon said something that hit me, and it made me realize where I was going wrong. And I'd known this, but it just kind of just hit me a little harder, a little clearer. He said, man, I'll go pick up that penny on the ground. Like, he goes, I see a nice penny on the ground. Yeah, he goes, yeah, I'm a millionaire. I'm picking up that penny. And I pick up change too. I'm not like, he goes, but you go be like, man, that's just a little bit of money out. He goes, but you want God to bless you with money, but you won't even take that money. He goes, imagine if you give your nephew a nice little gift, and he goes, man, I don't want this like old gift. He goes, you doing that to God. And I was like, man. And right there and then, bro, I was like, I literally got on my knees. I said, God, I'm sorry, bro. because I've been so ungrateful. Like for the stuff you've already given me, the stuff I have, like, what am I thinking? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, what am I thinking? Like, by stressing about money, by stressing about lack, proves that for one, God is not your center. And for two, it shows how ungrateful you are because you've been given plenty of things and blessed with plenty of things and still continue to receive things. And you're ungrateful, or you're not happy, or you're wondering why you're not here or there, or you're stressing about money. Dude, ungrateful. If I was God, I wouldn't bless me. Be like, yo, what? Do you see this kid? I've given him so much and he's crabbing.
Yeah.
You know, and that hit me hard. And I was like, dude, I gotta be more grateful about everything. Not even just money, everything, bro. Everything. I feel like every podcast I'm talking about great gratitude, but it is the center of things.
Yeah.
If
for
you're
sure.
grateful, what can get to you? Nothing can get to you, man. Nothing. Nothing can get to you, bro. Nothing can get to you. I've met so many homeless people, poor people, people in bad situations, and have a gratitude heart for God.
Yeah.
Explain that. You know, so that's when, you know, you hear anybody say something like, you know, how my friend said that to me today about like, you know, why'd that happen, you know, to her. And it was just like, man, like we get so focused on this instant gratification from everything in life, even God, where it's like, dude, like people die. People been dying ever since Jesus. He's the only one who didn't die, you know, but we all die. We're all going to die. But are you going to blame God for this happening to you and that happening to you and this happening to you? Nah, bro, that's not the way to live. Just because you pray every day doesn't guarantee you that you're going to have this amazing life. Say you don't. Will you still believe in God then? Or do you only believe in God because he gives you things or you have a good life? You know, do you thank him when you're not having a good day? Or do you only thank him when you're having good days? You know, good days. It's how you I don't know. I never blame God for negative things that happen to me. Like, for one, I'm like, there's a devil. That's for one. For two, like, even if God allowed it, so what? If God allowed it, then it's a good thing. Even if you can't see it. It might be bad for you, but it might be good. What if it's the worst lesson for you? Some of the worst lessons for people are the best lessons. That's for me. Not anything I'm sharing on here right now. But some of my worst lessons I've ever learned were the best ones. They were terrible at the time, but they were the best things for me, bro. You know, maybe on the podcast. Maybe. I don't think so.
That was a lot, dude. I love that we got into that. You dropped some gems there.
That was the truth, bro.
Yeah.
That was the truth. It's so funny how you brought up money, bro. I'm like, I can't believe this.
It just seems like to me, like that's what I stress about. I really don't, you know what I mean? Like, that's really the only thing that is really on my mind.
It sucks, bro, because when you stress on that,
it does suck.
You won't succeed. You won't. You will not succeed. Everything you're doing will lack because you're not grateful. When you're grateful, like you wake up grateful, thank you for everything, and you're like not tripping. You're like, bro, I'm just deciding not to sweat about it. You know, I get to this point where I'm like, bro, it's always around the holidays. I noticed that because the holidays I spend a ton of money. And I'm like, you know, whether I'm going to go buy something for my mom or anybody, for Morgan. And, you know, when I bought jewelry, bro, jewelry runs me like $700 to $1,300 to $1,500 a piece, like one piece. I might buy 2 pieces. And I'm like, I'm tripping about it at first, but I'm like, dude, like you're talking about the love of your life, the other love of your life, your mother. You can't spend this little bit of change that they pretty much helped you get. Grateful, bro. Be grateful that you can spend that, because it changes the way you act, bro. It does, bro. And I'm glad that hit me today, because it's helped me a ton today. And now I'm just gonna try to keep that but I'm just gonna try to keep that in my forefront, bro, because I'm not trying to fall into this loop, bro. I can't. I had probably about a month of feeling like this. And it's screwed up everything. My videos aren't hitting the same. Things are not hitting the same. Life's not hitting the same. I'm getting recurring dreams telling me snap out of this, start being grateful, trust God. That's it. Stop thinking about money. It is not my provider. Money is not my provider. Like money?
You're so right.
It's not. I make money. God blesses me with money. Me physically, when I do things, I make money. Money does not make me, bro. That's the reality of it, bro.
So to answer the question, you wouldn't take the you would keep the
I mean, based on the question, yes, I would not take the money right away, and I would continue doing what I'm doing. Only because I just know when you do that, like I'm doing now, you crack through. You will, you know?
You just think not, because like part of that question is like, on one end of it, you wake up, you have no financial worries, but in exchange for, you got no purpose, you got no goals, you're not striving for anything, you're just idle. You're not building towards
that
any,
sounds
you know
like
what
a
I mean?
rich
So it's so
that sounds terrible.
and when I had put it in my perspective like that, like in my mind, I was like, you know what, dude, like
You'd want it. You want it. What would you do?
Want that I just feel like you'd want
that.
purpose, like that drive, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, bro,
to
right?
shoot for something, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about a little more about money for a second. So how do you believe you go about not focusing so much on money? Now, that's a hard question. Tomorrow, how are you going to go about your day not focusing on money and not falling into that loop?
And so immediately as soon as you asked that, in my mind, my answer was to just have more of it. So in my mind, it's like, once I could figure out, because it's not something I could talk, like I get it. And I think people would agree with everything you just said, because I do agree. And it's like, yeah, you can't but at the same time, like, it is a necessity. We do need it. So I think, I think there comes a time, back to what I talked about, the Maslow, the hierarchy of needs, on the bottom, there's that food, shelter, safety.
Mm-hmm.
So the money is a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why the conversation is so interesting, because it's like a back and forth. You know what I mean? It's like, I think that for me, I don't think I'm somebody who would obsess about money like that.
Yeah.
But
what makes you?
But I think that I think that once I would be able to have, if I had a certain amount of money or a system built that's going to bring me in enough money to where I'd be okay, then I wouldn't be able to. Then I wouldn't have to stress about it.
Tomorrow,
I guess so. Tomorrow,
because you have.
So if I had,
yeah.
So if I had to narrow it down, I guess I would.
I
guess I would have to really be grateful. That would probably alleviate it. Like, I'd probably have to really sit down and, like you said, and just really just sit down and be like, you know what? I'm grateful for everything that I got going on right now, for the people in my life. For, things could be a lot worse. So I think for that time being, if we're talking about tomorrow, that would probably allow me to not stress in general.
Yeah. About anything.
About anything.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, tomorrow, that would probably be it. But in the long term, along with being grateful, I think to just acquire more money.
Definitely.
I wouldn't,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
If I have a fridge full of food, I'm not really stressing about having food for the week if I went shopping and I got food. So I would imagine that once I had more money coming in, it would probably be harder for me to stress about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to say, bro, because more money, more problems, bro.
Yeah.
Plenty of people who have money, and I watch them online. Like, people I watch who I know are not, like, they might be wealthy, but I could even see through on their vlogs that, like, they run into issues about that. They got dough, and they got this weird, because, bro, it's just like, yo, it just can't be your master, bro. If it's your master, it's going to run everything, man.
Definitely not. I don't think it should be your master, but it's just, there definitely is, it's a tool. Food. It's a tool for sure.
It's like, just like food. Like you said, it's like food, bro. You need it. You need money. Just like you need chicken.
It's a tool that is needed to have that balance of like, again, I like what Ty Lopez says about, he says it, the four pillars of the good life: health, wealth, love, happiness. He goes, dude, some of my neighbors in Beverly Hills are some of the richest people in the world, or in America. You know, they have anywhere from 50 to 500 to 800 million dollars in their bank account in cash, liquid. And they don't have it all. They feel like they're missing something. Yeah. So it's like being able to ideally have that balance of everything, but the money part is the you know, maybe not the foundation. You talk about having a relationship with God, and
It's just a tool, bro.
it is a tool.
It's just a tool, because that guy's got 850 million and he's got a problem. Guess what his problem is? He's ungrateful. He's ungrateful.
Yeah.
If he was great, what does he have? He has everything and he's not satisfied. He's ungrateful. It always comes down to that, bro. You can't escape that answer. You have a bajillion dollars, bro, and yet you feel unfulfilled.
Yeah.
You're ungrateful, bro. Because a grateful person doesn't go and say, I'm unfulfilled.
Yeah.
They say, I'm picking up skiing this weekend. Yeah, I'm going to try skiing with a smile on their face. Not
I think it comes down to also
bugging out
too
about
with,
some, you know?
yeah, I think also it comes down to like being able to, at some point you have to be able to be satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's another
Yeah.
quote I heard. It was, to the man that has everything, everything is no longer enough.
Yeah.
Because certain people, there's certain people that like, certain people just, they want more. They're looking for the next best. They want more. And at a certain point, you kind of have to just be, you know what? Like I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
Whether that's a relationship, you know, like money, you know, guys want, a lot of times guys just want like the, you know, the prettiest girl, the next, oh, she's prettier, she's prettier, she's prettier. Girls want the best man. Oh, he's a better man. He makes more money. It's like at a certain point,
Just stop.
you gotta settle or be satisfied and be grateful. You know what I mean? So I think that,
That's a good point. That's a good point. Always wanting more is another sign for just being
being able to be satisfied. I think when you think about it, would help a lot of people out, I think.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely.
And I don't mean be satisfied in the sense that like don't believe in yourself and don't think that like don't strive for more, but like
it's interesting.
Yeah, dude. Like just
saying it sounds like you're not satisfied.
No, yeah,
you know?
just to, I don't mean, yeah, like don't, not to not strive for more, but just being able to be like, you know what, like this is enough. Like if I'm happy and I'm content and like this is enough. Like, you know,
I agree with that so much.
Allow yourself to be grateful and just be like, you know what, like, but where's that line? Where is that
line? That's
the interesting question.
That's a very, like, being satisfied. It's almost like food, you know, like you could eat until you're full, or you could be like, yeah, I'm good. Like I can eat more, but I'm good. I'm good. You know, it's like,
or fitness, dude, you're lean, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, okay, I'm 10% body fat. I look good. I feel good with my shirt off. You know, I can still attract a woman, you know, maybe, you know, I can still afford to go out and have a nice meal or have a dessert and still work out. Or it's like, I'm not satisfied. Do I need to like really kick it in and up an extra notch and get down to this percent body fat for really no other benefit?
Yeah.
No really other upside for maybe the dudes in the gym to be like, yo, dude, you look shredded, or like for yourself, like, oh, you know what I mean? So it's like,
that's interesting, bro.
So it's like, can you learn to be
that's an actual very hard topic. I don't think I've ever been thinking of something that I've never had something to say to, but that's really hard. Being like satisfied, like when, yeah, that's interesting, bro.
Then it all comes, you know, but it also comes back to too, it's like know thyself, knowing yourself. Like, I think that is like the best, like one of the best things, like, or the best like sayings, like, because only you will know if you know yourself, like when enough is enough, like,
I'm like trying to apply it to my life, like, and it makes me think I need to be a little more, stricter on the goals of what they are. Like, okay, you want this, but more detail. Like how they say, like, okay, you want to make more money. How much more money? Down to the penny.
Yeah, it's important to go to it. When you just said that, it made me think like learning how to do like these sales, like these one-on-one calls and like this course,
Mm-hmm.
like Brandon talks about, he's like, like, all right, well, so like, what are like your goals? Like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. Like, oh, like, okay, like, cool. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Like, oh, because, okay, cool. Like, how do you think that would make you feel? Like, let's go deeper. Like, so like, tell me more about that. Like, why do you feel like you need to achieve this to make you feel that way? Like,
Yeah.
why is feeling like that important to you? Okay, so like when this happens, like how do you think you're gonna feel like when you achieve? If you didn't achieve this, like how really breaking it, really
Yeah.
breaking things down.
Getting you to the satisfaction
Yeah,
point. So it's getting you to say, like, at this point, I'll be satisfied. And these are all the reasons why. And then it's like, okay. And even for a person to go that deep, usually don't do that. So they're like realizing, like, wow, like, I never really realized I had like mommy problems. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're like,
sometimes you also have. Sometimes you also have. Some I can't even talk. Sometimes you also have to. Not all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to experience things to know when enough is enough or that you're satisfied.
I agree with that 100%. Like, get to where a goal was and be like, hey, you know what? I actually don't want that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually good with that. That's true. That's true.
Sometimes you have to waste a bunch of money on dumb shit to realize that like you don't need
Yeah.
the shoes or the designer clothes or this or that, Sometimes and then you realize that, just a plain tee is good. Like
Like they
it's
all
better
say.
it's better to get in shape and just a plain tee is good. I don't need,
Yep. They all say that. I made all this money and now I just was like,
when
I don't really want it.
when you're
I'm good.
when you're intimate with or you're hook up with you sleep with a bunch of people, sometimes you need to experience that to realize that like, like I don't need to be chasing
That ain't the
sex all
route.
the time. Yeah, like
Yeah.
or
Yeah. And like giving yourself more credit. That's stuff I need to like also do. And in a sense, just think about like, you like when you really analyze your life, like you've been through a lot of things. Don't forget them. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't forget them. You've been through that. You've done that. You've messed up here. You've done that. You came through this. You're satisfied here. You've practiced these things of satisfaction. Now it's just a new area in your life that you're kind of doing it. Yeah, that's satisfaction, bro. Between that, that's some good stuff today, bro. That was good.
it was good.
Satisfaction and money. I'm gonna work on that this week. I'm gonna work on being more grateful for sure. That's something that ain't never gonna stop. I have to continue that until I die. And
I meant to ask. Oh no, sorry.
No, that's
I
it.
got to work.
that's it. I mean, that's really it.
I was gonna ask you what your plans like, what your goals were for like the winter, like because you got a couple more days left to work.
I kind of gotta write them. Like I know them off the top of my head. You know,
What's
I need to
what's
organize it.
What's
So I
like?
need to dive into real estate more because I have the time. So I'm excited to do that, do some videos, do more marketing, be at more events, talk to more people, that hang out with Leah more, and really get my, a couple of these businesses that I got. Like I'm creating this ring, bro, doing this ring. It's like, like a ring like
You were
this.
telling me that.
Doing that, bro. I got like my designs going. I was using Midjourney. I got some few designs I'm going. So I got to talk to an engineer. I got to talk to a jeweler. And then selling music, bro. And then continuing this podcast, promoting this podcast. Those are like the main four, bro. Family life, real estate, music, podcast.
2025 will be the
Right.
year the guest from the pod.
Yeah, definitely, bro. In the next couple of weeks. Bro. Need to figure out another camera situation.
Literally was just gonna say
Just thought about
that I'm probably gonna drop my tax return on another Lumix for now. We can upgrade in the future,
Yeah,
but these are doing good for now.
they are good.
And
yeah, I like them.
we just need that third angle because I'm not trying to use these two cameras and an iPhone. I'm just not trying to do that. Like
Yeah,
we just talk about money. Like I can't be stressed, and we both have jobs. Like you know what I mean. So it's like it's an investment for the podcast. That like
another third one. Yeah, 400 each.
for real. Like
Yeah, not bad.
why not? Like it's an investment. I'm telling you, dude. I think the guest. Once we have the guest, it's gonna really be.
Pop it off.
Yeah, or just it'll kind of just open people's eyes a little bit more to what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point because you're only bringing certain guests on because they are similar to what you are talking about. We're not going to bring anybody on that's like completely left.
and it's just different. Like,
No
I'm not
OF
saying that
girls.
people don't get value or enjoy watching just us two, but it's like, oh, it's almost kind of like, all right, they're here. It's like, oh, now they got a guest. Okay, cool. Now it's just like that's just like
Yeah. Hmm. It does.
you know,
It definitely will. Because, people will look at it and be like, oh, yeah, they are like that.
doing it.
Very similar. I look at podcasts and anybody who they bring a guest on has something that's similar to their message overall. It's not like they're just very interested in them. It's like, Girls Gone Bible. They have all Christian people who are in the industry, pastors, influencers, all types of people like that. Where it's us, where, we're going from dreams and day jobs. People doing both, everything in between.
Yeah.
From the ones grinding like us to people who have made it a little more, a little further in their journey. That's going to be cool to see, bro. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited to like I said, I'm excited to do more of like the ask. I'm excited to ask. Like
Yeah.
I'm excited to do more of like the
Rip-free knowledge, bro. Like getting a complete insight into someone's mind, if you ask the right questions,
psyched. I'm thinking like just it gets me psyched to think about like we can build like just I don't know like we're brand building now. Like this podcast is brand building, so it's like
bro.
I love it.
It is. Fastest way to build a brand is a podcast right now, bro. It's the fastest way. You get the most amount of value. They get the most insight into you. It's the easiest way to do it. Not easy, but I mean, we're really just sitting here on a couch talking. Don't get any.
But to be able to do that, dude, and to be able to just like sit and just like be able to have stuff to talk about, even if it's kind of more or less the same topic, like or the same message, like to be able to just like continuously do it is like
Discipline, bro.
yeah,
That was good, bro.
it was good.
Money.
Episode 24.
Books, man. Money. Money.
That's it.
More money, more problems.
Episode 25 next week. So we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Peace out.